just like that. I mean, they've been close to coming to the punter, Dylan Barnes, a couple of times tonight. They were very close to blocking a couple earlier in the first half of action, but that time they were able to break through, and who else but Sidi Tama Avena with another big defensive play, and the Mounties now with a 10-point lead.
Ooh-wee, a little bit of breathing room, but nothing to take lightly here on the Citrus Owls as they're ready to come out and take away and erase this 10-point deficit here. Plenty of time left in the game, and the Mounties really just trying to build off of something here. If they can get another stop on the Owls, they can kind of build off of something here early on in the second half and kind of maintain some sort of offensive stability here.
I'd say, Brian, if you're Coach Jabs, sure you burned a timeout when you didn't want to, but I think it's worth it now.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty big. Coach Jabs isn't on
98 wins.
He's not on 98 wins on accident.
Looking for a win 99 tonight, and if he can get 100 in one of these final 3 games after this one, he'd be the first coach to do so in his first 10 seasons. This time it's Martin, and that's a smarter return as he returned it from his goal line, and it'll get out to around the 31-yard line. A pretty good return from Kevin Martin, who's been huge offensively tonight.
So long to go with Tama Avena's 47 team-leading tackles on the season, along with his 6 sacks. He now has a punt block on his resume and stat sheet.
Where the D1 offers are going to come rolling in very soon. Very soon.
I'm shocked that they're not already rolling in right now.
They'll know about him soon, if they don't already. Citrus, they'll come out in a 5-wide set. End around, and it's fumbled. Ball's on the ground. And luckily for the Owls, for the second time tonight, they fall on top of the football. But they're going to rule that an incomplete pass as on the wide receiver end around, I guess the quarterback Colbrith pitched it forward to Patrick Smith, and the Mounties are a little bit livid on their sideline. They thought that was a ball that should have been fumbled, but the referees will rule it a forward pass. Some more questionable officiating tonight.
Well, unfortunately for the Mounties, I mean, they're ruling that not a live ball, so.
Clock will stop after the incompletion on the 2nd and 10. Another 5-wide set, empty backfield. Colbrith pressure. Now he's going to step up and run. Has a lot of room to the far side of the field. He'll pick up a Citrus College first down and zigzag his way out of bounds to the 41. Move the chains for the Owls.
Zigzag he did. Cut berth on the move for the Owls, and using his wheels on that play as he produces a first down for Citrus, and a very important drive if you're looking
absolutely
at them, you know, to score on and kind of cut into this 10-point deficit for Citrus, as it's a empty backfield here.
Now they've come out with this formation so far on this drive. They're not running the football. 5-wide set, empty backfield. The throw is nearly intercepted to the far side of the field. Cliven Stewart nearly came up with the pick there for the Mounties. There's a flag down in the backfield. You take a look at what Larry Cutberth has done tonight, Brian, for Citrus College. It's an
chop block.
Chop block. How about that? We trade chop blocks in this game. So it'll be 15 yards against Citrus College. It'll back them up inside their own 30. Going to be a 1st and 25. But Cutberth, he's done a nice job working with what he has, and was expecting to have a bigger season than he has had, but you know, it's just been decent. You know, his team at 3-3, 2-0 in conference play. They look good through about a quarter and a half in this one, but the Mounties with 17 unanswered points now. They have a 24-14 lead. Does mount SAC with under 11:10 left to go in the third quarter, but he's picking up that Division I interest. No offers just yet, but Arizona, BYU, Florida Atlantic, Kansas State, San Jose State, Nevada, all looking at this kid.
Yeah, for good reason. Like junior college.
Ooh. Well, this time it'll be Sidi Tama Avena in the backfield to take down Cutberth. Speaking of him, that's a loss of close to 9.
I was saying, you know, Cutberth is a pretty good talent, and obviously he's drawing attention from these major schools that you're talking about. At 6'5", 210 pounds, he's a pretty mobile quarterback who's light on his feet, but on that last play, C.D. Talavena just a little bit quicker to bring him down for the loss.
We certainly woke him up. His first sack of the night, and he had the punt block, which was returned by Skylar Kroll for a Mountie touchdown. After the chop block and after the sack, it's a 2nd and 35 for Citrus College at their own 16. 4 wide set for the Owls. 2 receivers aligned to each side. The lone back Gonzalez. It's a screen pass out to the near side of the field and wrapped up after a pickup of close to 4 for Citrus College. It was Dimitri Smith was his 3rd reception of the night, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 32. So it gets a little bit better for Citrus College. You think Citrus College is a play call for 3rd and 30?
It'll involve Cutbirth. Either way, we'll see what happens on 3rd and 30.
Citrus has it at their own 21. 24-14 Mounties. 9:20 left to go, 3rd quarter. They're going to hand it off. Gonzalez has some room up the middle, tries to get to the outside, and he takes a hard pop courtesy of Solomon right around the 29-yard line. Still very, very far away from that first down marker, and Citrus College will have to punt. The chop block killed that drive for the Citrus Owls.
Well, penalties are trading back and forth here in the second half, and on that last penalty, the chop block that you're talking about for 15 yards, that really backed them up as their last down was they had to get the 30 yards. They did not do so, and a big stop for the Mounties defense. The first time, actually, if Mount Sac gets this and scores.
Well, the Mounties will bring the pressure again on the punt. Barnes is able to get it off, and it's probably his best one of the night, and that's not saying much. The Mounties are going to have some more great field position here. It'll go out at the Citrus College 48-yard line. It has just not been a good night for Dylan Barnes, the punter for Citrus College. And coming into this one, he just hasn't had a great year so far. 34 punts, Brian, coming into this one, only averaging 34.3 a punt.
I think I could punt it a little further. I'm a former soccer player. I got a mean left foot on me.
You're a lefty, huh?
Yeah.
Did not know that.
But I was saying, Chris, a big stop for the defense for the first time in the second half. Let's see if they can piggyback off that.
Well, now with the
on
10-point lead, let's just keep adding on to that. That's what you got to think if you're Mount Sac. They'll start at the Citrus College 48, and Allo will complete out to the far side of the field here on the first play of the offensive drive for the Mounties. And it was Steven Short, the tight end, coming down with the reception. A solid pickup of close to 7 on first down for Mount Sac. We'll keep you updated on that Chaffey College Long Beach game. Long Beach, the number 1 team in SoCal at 6-0. They trail 34-30 in that one. Allo will keep here. He picks up a first down for the Mounties inside the 35 down to the 34. Chaffey 2-3 on the season, Brian. In their first season in the National Central Conference, that would be a huge victory for their program.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Chaffey came into Homer Lodge earlier this season and gave them a little bit of a ride.
Just a little bit.
In the first half.
First half, yeah.
This carries on in the second half for Chaffey against Long Beach, 34-30. Plenty of time left in that game as well. 1st
and 10 for the Mounties at the Citrus College 34. Vons will get the pitch here. He picks up another first down for Mount Sac, and he's still on his feet. Now he's going to try to come towards the near side of the field, and he's finally taken down at the Citrus College 22. I think Aaron Vons right there, Brian, was about a broken tackle away from a touchdown.
He was very close to finding a little bit more space, and he does such a great job just waiting for his blocks.
He's elusive.
To progress, and then, really finding those gaps. He's a smaller guy on the field, so he utilizes that speed very, very smart.
Is he 5'8"? I think he's 5'8".
5'8".
1st and 10 for the Mounties at the Citrus College 22, and the handoff will go to the big back here for Mount Sac. It's number 48 for the Mounties. It's Brandon Wilson getting his first carry in a couple of weeks for Mount Sac, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage for no gain. Citrus College all over that one.
He's a big guy, Brandon Wilson. We saw him early on in the season at 5'10", 235.
5'10", 235, and he's the only guy with the last name Wilson that I know without a big beard. Brian Wilson, Dodgers, you know what I'm talking about?
He went a little shorter this year. No rubber band necessary on the end of the beard.
I look up to that guy. 2nd and 11. Wilson lost a yard. Allo will throw over the middle, and it's in and out of the hands of Ryan Simpson, the slot man there for the Mounties. Incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd and 11 at the Citrus College 23. I'd say, as of right now, up by 10, 24-14. 6:41 left to go in the third quarter. The Mounties lead right here at the Citrus College 23. If you don't really build off of this play right here, if you don't get any yardage off of this play right here, let's say there's an incomplete pass, I'd say you send out the field goal unit, try to make this a 13-point game. It's about Villarreal's range. You'd have to think. 4 receivers set. The lone back, Wilson, play action. Allo has a man wide open in the end zone, and Dante Hill caught it. Touchdown Mounties. He slipped behind the defense. There was no one within 15 yards of him.
Blown coverage by the Owls, and they're making them pay here as Allo had a man wide open, and in for the touchdown attack onto their lead already is Dante Hill. So a nice job by him, slipping past the defensive coverage by the Owls and hauling it in for a touchdown pass.
And all you can do if you're Coach Ponciano in his 5th year for the Owls is throw your hands in the air and say, how in the world did that man get so wide open? Dante Hill with his first touchdown reception of the season. So it's now 31-14. The Mounties lead with 16:34 left to go in the third quarter of action. Is that 24 unanswered points for the Mounties?
You are correct. Guess how tall Dante Hill is?
Shorter than me?
5'8".
Shorter than me?
Oh, man. Those guys are dominating on the Mounties.
We talk about it every week. We really hope we have some regular listeners so we can just start throwing the 5 thing out there and not really have to explain what we're talking about.
Ryan Simpson. These are key players on the Mounties.
Absolutely. 31-14. They've really opened it up. This is the Mountie team we know, and this is the Mountie team that has to come into Wheelock Stadium in Riverside next week if they want a chance to take down the Tigers.
Well, yeah, this can be a statement game for them as, Citrus is no slouch as they were ranked number 4 to start the season. So an Owls team who is, very capable of coming back on the Mounties, and if the Mounties tack onto this lead and really make it a convincing win, they can kind of send a message to Riverside, hey, we're coming to get you.
We're ready.
We're trying to snap that streak you guys have at home.
27 straight home wins for the Tigers on the line next week against the Mounties. Martin from his own goal line will get across the 10, across the 15, and he's taken down by a convoy of Mounties right around the 20-yard line. They've done a good job at limiting his returns. Like we mentioned a little bit earlier, he's averaging close to 30 per kick return. So the Mounties have done a good job of containing Justin Martin. 31-14, 6:27 left to go third quarter. Not over yet. Not anywhere near over yet. Only a 17-point deficit for Citrus College, but you got to feel good if you're the Mounties.
Yeah, and they can kind of build off of this. You know what I mean? You said it's 24 unanswered points for the Mounties, and after taking that small lead into halftime, they can come out here. It's still early on in the second half.
1st and 10 here, and Colbreth will throw to the far side of the field, and a nice grab out of bounds. Making the catch after a pickup of 11 was Patrick Smith with his 6th reception of the game.
And the referees are calling a tight game except for that last catch and reception there. He's pushing off right before he's catching the ball, and obviously pushing off. And the sideline of the Mounties are letting the referees know, hey, you've been calling it tight all game.
I think
why not right there?
We talked to some of the referees before the game. They seemed like an educated bunch, but maybe they went to Citrus College. 1st and 10, handoff here. It'll go to Pooler, and Pooler up the middle for a pickup of about 1.5 yards. It's been rough down there for those officials. Actually, a high school game I was broadcasting last night. It was pretty rough in the advantage for the home team last night, but the road team is getting the majority of the calls tonight in Citrus College.
Yeah, let's see if this can if they can limit their penalties the rest of the way here. The Mounties, getting 8 penalties in the first half. And I believe 7 of those were in the first quarter alone.
2nd and 9 after the pickup of 1 on the ground courtesy of Emmanuel Pooler.